This podcast is sponsored by RSA Rock and Metal Fans Facebook page.
Hey, Roland.
Hello, how
How
are
you
you?
doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for deciding to do a podcast, man. How did it all come about again? I forgot how. Did I contact you, or how was it again?
Yeah, I think so. I sent you a message to listen to our music or something, and you responded that you could do a podcast or something like that. Yeah,
Awesome.
that was it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Oh, that's the way it should work, really, isn't it? You know, just
Yeah,
just by
yeah,
chance,
that's
send it out, see what happens. You just never know.
yeah, because I got a lot of nice contacts doing that actually with the musicians, podcasters, radio stations, and so on. So I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah,
because if
absolutely.
you are-
And I also think coronavirus has pushed everybody into this sort of thing as well, and everybody has to sort of come up with different ways of doing these sort of things.
Yeah, that's correct. So
So,
it's quite
so
easy and.
sorry, Roland. I was just going to say that we just started off just like that without even a formal introduction, but I guess we don't really need one. But anyway, let's just go there. Okay, so welcome to Talk to Trev podcast. This is Roland from the band XOPlasma. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, I said it right. It wasn't some sort of weird way of saying it. XOPlasma. Why the name XOPlasma?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite easy because when we were younger, we had a band, because now we are 3 in the band. We had a band, we were 6 persons, called Plasma. And a couple of years ago, in 2018, I thought we should do a reunion. So I contacted the band and some of them responded. And then we said, why don't we call ourselves XOPlasma? Because exo means out of.
Right.
So it's out of plasma comes exoplasma. So that's really the reason we have that name. It's that's the only reason.
When did the first plasma start?
That was in the 80s actually. And
okay,
yeah.
So now I understand the influence and the sound.
Yeah, so that's it. So actually, Plasma was the band we played in the final of a competition called Best Rock Band in Sweden. And I think Plasma ended in number 3, and the winner was a band called Europe, the final countdown.
Wow, jeepers.
Yeah. So so we come from that, and we play on some big stages and stuff like that.
Wow.
And then we just quit.
So I mean, people can't see it, but I can see your profile picture popped up on my screen, and like, this is not a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old. This is a man who's lived.
Yeah, I mean, we have some pictures from the old days, and then we have some pictures from today.
Right. I saw the Facebook pics. I was like, okay, these guys are in their teens and so on. And then I saw some of the other pics and no, they're not.
Yeah, no. So that's a mixture of
Okay.
Because in the beginning, I just want to play because I have so many ideas of new songs, and so I talked to the guys and said, let's play some old Plasma music, and they said they were a bit shall we or shall we not? And then we gathered and we played, but my aim was to do some new music. So after a while I said, why don't we try this tune? Are you serious? Yeah. And then we continued, and all of a sudden we had a few songs, and because our singer, he's also a professional producer. He produced a lot of big bands like Michael Learns to Rock and Orash and other bands, and he makes some music to the Eurovision Song Contest and so on. So he knows the industry, and he thought that the ideas was pretty good, and so from there we just continued. So and it's great fun.
Well, I mean, the music reflects that very much, because God knows we need it in this day and age. I think there's such a feel-good factor to 80s music, in particular to alternative rock and new wave and so on. And I was a teenager in the 80s, so I can relate very much to the sound of your music. And why was it purely because you guys had started in the 80s that you kind of carried on with that sound?
That's a good question. I think, I mean, because we love music in the 80s, we love the 80s music, but I like the 90s music, the new music as well, and the other guys too. But I think that it's very stuck in our souls and brains, that kind of music. So that's why I think the influences come from there. It's inevitable in some way, but it was not like we have to play like in this way. We just play music that we like, and and that's it. And then we say let's put it on Spotify and Amazon and iTunes and so on. And I mean, but we play just to have fun, to meet and have fun. That's real.
Well,
the aim of
I mean,
playing.
that goes straight into a great segue into my next question is why doing it now? Is it okay? So you're obviously just doing it for fun. Is there any sort of byproduct because of it? Is there any sort of other thing that you're doing on the sideline, or other projects that lend itself well to what you're doing with XOPlasma?
No, I mean, as I said, our singer, he's a producer as well, but me and the drummer, we are like amateurs. So it's just because I'm a public speaker, and I think it's a good change of life to when you come home from work, you make some music, have fun, meeting friends. And so I think it's just, I mean, I like to have a mixed life, doing a lot of different things. So this is really adding up to that mentality.
What exactly does a public speaker do?
Oh, a public speaker. I mean, I have lectures for politicians and leaders and so on. And
wow. Okay.
I was about to go into New Orleans now in May and Israel in March. But as you understand, I have to cancel it. But
yeah.
So I talk about what happens in the world and about how to run big organizations, leadership, and stuff like that.
Jeepers. So music is like a far cry from that world.
Yeah, it is. And also, I mean, I'm used to standing on big stages. I was in Los Angeles last year, 2019, and I had more than 1,000 financial officers from US and Canada listening to me. So.
Wow.
So I'm used to that, and I like to stay on the stage, and that's all I can do.
Do you think some people are born to be on stage? Like, I mean, you obviously enjoy it. I mean, if put me in front of 5 people on stage and I'd absolutely brick it, I wouldn't be happy at all.
Yeah, for some, I mean, of course, in one way, yes, I think so. But when I can see back in my career, I mean, in the beginning, I was really nervous. I was not very good, but I told myself that if you want to be good, you have to exercise. And standing on the stage, you can't read it in a book or talk to people or get the inspiration. Of course, you can do that as well, but you have to exercise.
Get
You
out
have
there.
to deal with it. Get out there. And now I just love it. But of course, I have to prepare very well because I can be nervous too. But usually I'm not. I'm just very excited and prepared. So you have to do a lot of things before you get on the stage to grasp all the energy that you will gain from the audience. So
and exercise, you mean actually mentally be prepared as well?
Yes,
not just
mentally.
Yeah.
I mean, if you see, I'm sure you've seen a lot of documentaries about rock bands and so on. Before they enter stage, they're very focused. They go into themselves. They don't talk to each other. And then they go onto the stage and something like that. I go into the toilet. I stay there for 5 minutes. I talk to myself and so on. And before I enter the stage, so
Wow.
it's quite similar.
It's like a mental preparation.
Yes, you need that actually. So because it's different. I mean, if you play a rock show, I mean, of course, most people will cheer. Maybe some will boo. I don't know. But if you're on the stage and talk to people, they will comment things. So you have to be prepared to meet everybody. Those who love you, those who don't like you, those who are very interested and those who are not, and so on. And I mean, some of my subjects are very interesting. Some are very boring, but that's a challenge.
Yeah.
To start with people who are really bored, but when they leave, they should be full of energy and be enthusiastic about what they heard. So that's really a cool kick to go through, I would say.
Right. So I mean, if somebody's listening to XOPlasma for the first time, how would you describe the genre to them?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, because we really didn't start putting ourselves in a different special genre or stuff like that. We just play the music we love, but of course there is a touch of 80s, but I would say indie rock or alternative rock. But on the other hand, there's so many people, they say there is Killers in us. There are Rush. There are the Swedish band called Kent, the biggest rock band in Sweden.
Right.
But they are very Swedish. So outside Sweden, I don't think people like them. But
Why
we have
is
so
that?
many. I don't know. I mean, they are so big. I mean, for me, there is no band in Sweden bigger ever. I mean, there's no band in the world that has like 50 songs. One of my friends, because they stopped playing now for some years ago, and he said to me, "Can you take out a list with the 30 best songs of Kent?" I couldn't do it. There's so many good songs. There's no band I ever heard that has so many good songs. It's impossible. If I should pick like 50 or 60, it might be possible. So they're very special, and they are really brilliant musicians and so. But the rock is very, I would say, Swedish in one sense, because it's they sing about Sweden and what happens here, and it's dark in the winter, and I don't know. It's very.
Do they?
I think
Sorry, I was just going to say, do they sing in English, or do they sing in Swedish?
In Swedish.
In Swedish. Okay,
yeah.
so maybe they've alienated themselves just slightly because of the language barrier.
Yeah, but they made, I think, 2 records in English as well.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
But you guys do everything in English, so I mean, you know, you're at least reaching the market.
Yeah, but it's actually easier to sing in English than Swedish. I mean, because English is a broader language, and I think it's really tough to make good lyrics in Swedish. But I would say, because I love our lyrics really, and our singer is really a talented lyrics writer. So it's hard to write lyrics in a good way, because I write like 6 or 7 books, but I can't write lyrics. But our singer is really good. I mean, to put it together like a story in 3-4 minutes, it's really hard.
So I mean, you just said you've written books.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Okay. Jeepers. I mean, you really are a learned chap, aren't you?
Yeah. That's your words.
I don't think I've met a musician who is probably as learned as you are.
No, I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, I like to do different things, so to speak.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's interesting, because I've usually the musicians or the artists that I speak to, there's always some sort of end goal. There's always a want out of their music, but for you, it's just purely fun.
It's purely fun. Yeah.
I mean, what a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. We just, that's number one for us, to meet, to just have an idea of a song and then see where it leads to. Sometimes it leads to something good. And I mean, the latest song, When the Chips Are Down, we worked with it 14 months before we were really happy about the finishing result. Yeah.
Why so
long? I don't know really. I mean, one answer is that we have other things to do, but it's also like we were not happy about the song. Right. I mean, it really took time before we could feel that this could be something. Now I'm very happy about the result. We really like it, but in the beginning we were really about to throw it away also. So some of the songs really, I mean, Time of Our Lives, for example, we worked with, I think, more than a year as well. But there we had some very good harmonies. We felt that this would be a good song, but we couldn't put it together. So we worked with it. And in the end, there was a song. And that song is really about us.
Right.
So, yeah.
I want to ask you about Out of Miles. That song seems extremely relevant today.
Oh yeah, I think it is. I mean, our lyrics are, I think most of our lyrics are relevant today, and Out of Miles definitely. And When the Chips Are Down are really relevant because we have a new president in the States in 2 weeks. So that's a song that's very relevant. So yeah, because we are very interested in what happens in the world in many ways, and this song, In the Light of Things, was played in a video for cleaning up the oceans in Brazil. There is an organization in Brazil who works with that, and so we are very interested in what happens in the world, and we try to reflect on that without being too black or white, because that. I think it's a problem today, that because things are not black and white, it's much more complicated. And that's why, because I work with um, uh, analyzing what happens in the world, and Corona is really, I mean, it's very tragic, of course, but it's also very interesting to reflect on how
Sure.
people react and so on. I mean, I always ask myself one question: since when could we analyze a very, very complicated situation by talking about only one thing, and that is how many people die compared to how many people live in a certain country? I mean, of course, if you think about it, it's only one figure out of many, because there's so many other things that you have to put into this to be able to analyze it in a correct way.
Sure.
And I think no one really can do it today. I can't do it, but people want very simple solutions, and then they just go for that. And that's, I would say, is a big problem, no matter what you think. I mean, what happens to, I don't like what your thoughts and ideas, but I'm prepared to kill so you can tell the world about them. You understand? Yeah. So I think, so we're very interested in what happens in the world as in general, I would say, in the band.
The question is, will the vaccine do the job?
I mean, partly, I would say. I think it depends on many things, because Corona, we will have it as long as we live. We will have Corona. I mean, right. you can see at the Hong Kong flu and the Asian flu that we got in the 50s and 60s, they are still here. To get rid of it totally, I don't think we will do that. And the thing is, will the third world countries, as we called them before, at least,
and I live in one of them, so yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, what happened with those countries? Because EU and US and Canada and Australia and so on, they really got a lot of vaccine. We will have more vaccine than we can really use, and they say that we will share it, but that's a problem, because this is something that hits all the world. And what happens in Africa and Asia and so on is really a key question, because we need to share. And it's very interesting, because you can see a lot of countries like Brexit in England, and you have Hungary, you have US and so on. Yeah. But the thing is that the big questions in the world, like the pandemic, the environment, artificial intelligence, nuclear weapon and so on, we have to solve together. We can't work country by country. On the other side, we are dividing ourselves up at the moment to say we work with ourselves, but how can we deal with the big questions if we don't work together?
Yeah, there's a lot, sort of much of a broader view that people need to sort of have a look at. But it doesn't help living in a third world country where the government has taken 500 billion of the money and run off with it. That's a very difficult thing to put into perspective and try and think about a vaccine when the money's been stolen.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, South Africa is really an example of very sad development. It makes me really sad, because you were on the track before and something happened and you had some bad politicians and but I think Africa in general, I mean, Africa is more than 50 countries and it's very different, of course.
Yeah.
But I always say that Africa is the future continent. Really, you have a young population, and in some parts, like south of Nigeria, parts of Tanzania, and so on, are developing, and South Africa, of course, are developing. And I think I have a strong belief in Africa for the future, maybe 10, 20 years ahead. But it's really a very interesting continent in so many ways.
I wish I had a crystal ball to believe you, but living in the country makes it hard to believe that. But we do live in uncertain times and very difficult times. So I guess it's easy to be pessimistic and view things.
Yeah, of course.
View things differently, I guess. But who knows? You know, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
We just don't know, so we just got to kind of roll with it. But we digress a hell of a lot now, talking about the coronavirus. I want to ask you, what's the winter like in Sweden at the moment?
Yeah, actually, I live in the very south, in Malmö, and when I look out of the window now, there is snow, and this is the first time we have snow this winter.
Oh wow!
But big part of Sweden have snow, and in the north it's like -30 and so on, and totally dark. There's no sunshine.
Gee.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a long country. It's so in the south, sometimes we don't have really winter here, but so it's like when the snow comes, it disappears quite quick. I would say.
Okay, so you're fairly lucky, and I guess your summers must be quite brutal then.
I mean, it can be very hot. We had summer now, I think 2 years ago, it was like 30 degrees, 25 to 30 degrees Celsius in like 3 months in a row.
Africa, I can tell you.
yeah, I know, but here is because we had rain like 3 or 4 days the whole summer. Usually in Sweden, it's rainy couple of days, sunny couple of days, rainy couple of days, sunny, like that. Yeah. But that summer was crazy. It was so dry. We are not used to that.
So as a professional working person, do you get any chances to, or have in the past, go out to concerts and music shows and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, actually, because I used to travel. I don't travel, but I used to travel a lot in my job, and then I try to go to concerts when I'm away. Yes, so I still go to a lot of concerts. Yeah, definitely.
Just because you're grown up doesn't mean you can't have fun.
No. I mean, the good thing about music is that you can always enjoy it. You can always play it. I mean, if you play soccer and you are like 70, come on.
Yeah.
But music you can always play, and so I will always enjoy it. Concerts.
Music is absolutely timeless. There's no age restriction on music.
Oh no, there's not. So I go to a lot of concerts still, definitely.
So what is the plan then for XOPlasma? If it's just for fun, is there going to be new stuff coming out, or what's the story?
Yeah, actually, I mean, we are working on an album. I know it's not. You don't make albums these days. Most bands make singles, but we just want to make an album, and we have a title for the album called "Letters from the Future."
Right.
And so some of the latest singles will be on that album, and some more songs. So we're actually working on that at the moment. And this Sunday we will meet again, and we will look at a couple of songs. And so maybe to summer, this coming summer, upcoming summer, we will have an album called Letters from the Future. That's the goal.
That's the goal. Whether that happens or not, who knows?
Yeah, we don't know really. And then actually we had a proposal to play, because every year I go to US to our sister organization in US, and they want us to play in Chicago in June, but I don't think that will happen because of Corona and all that. But so that's a big conference. That would be fun.
I mean, you talk about traveling and it probably won't happen because of Corona, but if you get the vaccine, we're going to sort of head back there again quickly. If you get the vaccine, can you get it again? That's the question. Or has it not been tested enough yet?
Yeah, actually the vaccine, some of the vaccines have been tested more than any vaccine before. So so it's really well tested. And if Corona would happen 10 years ago, we couldn't have a vaccine within a year. No way. So I mean, all vaccines are, what to say? I mean, there's no 100% certainty in any vaccine.
Of course.
Yeah. Or in one sense. On the other way, if we didn't have any vaccine at all, you can just imagine what kind of diseases we would have in the world. So I think the vaccine could be some answer to our questions, but we will never go back to what was before 2020. No way. Yeah, it will be different, but how? I think we have to be very good at navigating in the now. Yeah. Instead of long time planning. I mean, maybe we can do that in the future. I don't know, but things are happening so fast now. So I think we have to be really observant what happens now and try to navigate in what we see at the moment.
So what are the 2021 plans, and other than having an album? I mean, are you guys going to do gigs and tours and shows and stuff?
Yeah.
If obviously in the country that you're in, if you're able to, wherever you are.
I don't know. Actually, that was not really the plan when we started to have gigs and stuff like that. But if you ask me, I would love to do that. But I think the other guys are not that keen or interested in that. But we will see. Maybe we do it, maybe not. We didn't really have any plan, and if it's the right situation and it feels right, definitely we will do it. But we will not do things if we don't feel it's 100% correct and right for us. So to be honest, my answer is very boring. I don't really know.
This is the thing. I have a lot of people that say, "Oh, my answer is very boring." I'm just like, well, everybody's got a story to tell, so just tell me about it, But why did you start playing bass? How did that come about?
Oh yeah, that was very because when I was very young, I mean, when I was like 10 years old, we were playing. We would use our tennis rackets and use as guitars and bass guitars.
Been there, done that many times.
Yeah. And then when I was 13 or 14, because we talked about starting a band, but then in the end, I was like, no, I'm not sure I'm gonna join my guys and stuff like that. And all my friends, they started a band and they had no bass player, because these days, no one wants to play the bass. I mean, singing is cool, guitar is cool, drummer is cool, but bass, come on. Do we really need it? And then I said, okay, I would try to do it, but because I'm always like that if I should do something, I always say yes, but then I really want to be very good. So I started to do lessons and stuff like that because I want to play for real, if you understand. So we started a punk rock band, Danger, and then it was shit, and we played some Bad Time, and So and actually there was one band I played. We play some songs. It's like, we call it Bad Time. It's like, Joy Division, New Order, like dark music.
Great. Nice.
Yeah, so we had a few songs there, and they are actually out on YouTube. I will not tell you the band name because it sounds terrible. But I contacted the guitarist and the singer, so we actually tried to remake it now, to play those songs and put it on Spotify just for fun.
Right.
So we might do that in 2021 as well. We don't know. It's just for fun, but the songs are terrible, really terrible. So that's actually the reason, because no one wanted to play the bass, and I was the guy, the last guy standing, so to speak. So.
And you're still standing, so that's got to count for something, right?
And now I really love the bass guitar because I love rhythms, and I realized the bass guitar can really be a very interesting instrument depending on how you play it.
Yeah, I think I play a bit of bass just for fun, and I play with a program called Rocksmith, and I love playing along with that because where I live, there's no other musicians that I want to play with, and I miss that camaraderie of being in a jam room and practicing and coming up with ideas. That was many years ago, because I'm approaching 50 now. So, I mean, my days of doing that are well and truly over, but I enjoyed that, getting together. How do you guys, how was the recording process of this, of the EP or the singles and stuff like that, with Corona around and everything?
Yeah, I mean, actually it's because me and the singer, we both had Corona.
Wow.
So I mean, we play. We have a program. I don't know what it is, so we can play digital. But then I go to his studio and I play the bass guitar. The drummer, he do his drumming things at home, and he sends it to the producer, and then we put things together. So we don't actually meet, but we put it together. The only one who meet is me and the producer, because I have no stuff here, so I can do the bass, and I'm not a very technical guy, so he has to help me with that. So I do the bass there, and then he puts things together. He sends some mix downs to us and say, what do you guys think? And we discuss it, and then we continue the process.
Okay.
But he's a very skilled producer. I mean, he's really...
we're talking about Johan,
Yeah, Johan Beierholm. He's really, and he has a big studio and stuff like that. So he really, I have full trust in him. He really knows what works, and he has some really good ideas. I mean, sometimes it can be very small things, but it just turned the song into something totally different and much bigger. So the process is quite energizing and nice, I would say. These days.
How did Johan get into Eurovision? Because I mean, that's a big thing. Not just anybody can sort of be involved in that sort of thing.
No, I mean, yeah, I think it's hard work because when we finished Plasma, I mean, we played in different bands, and he and some guys continued playing other bands as well. And then, I mean, he's always been skilled in producing things because he was part of that before as well. And then he just started to work with it and buy some stuff, and then it was more stuff, and you know. So, and one of the songs he did for a quite famous singer in Sweden has like more than 30 million streams on Spotify.
What?
And some of the bands he produced, like Michael Learns to Rock, has hundreds of millions of streams in China and so on. So, yeah, so he's really a big guy in that sense, definitely.
Wow. And that must be something to have him in the band because he knows what he's doing. Jeepers.
That's gold. And also the drummer is very, even if he's like an amateur, he's really professional. He's really, I mean, that's the only drum. That's why we play together, because I play with a lot of other guys, but playing with these guys, it's so different because we have the same thoughts about things. And I mean, this drummer is really, he plays with the music. I mean, he's not playing just to make it sound very funny and heavy or something like that. Yeah. He's just playing and go with the music in a way that is very rare, I would say. So sometimes I just listen to the drums in our songs because they're really beautiful and they are very special. And so even if we're amateurs, we
well, it certainly doesn't sound like it, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, we work hard, and sometimes amateur can become at least semi-professional if they work really hard.
I mean, if you got someone like Johan around, jeepers, you can only learn from the best, and there you go.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, I mean, I've got a Spotify playlist of artists that I've had podcasts with, and I'm torn between the three songs: "Stuck," "When the Chips Are Down," and "Out of Miles." But I really like "Out of Miles" because it's a little bit more rockier, and I love the message in it. Really do. So I think I'm going to put that on my Spotify playlist.
Yeah, it's a good one, definitely.
But I really like it. So let's get technical now. And I know you just said you're not really a technical guy, but I want to know, what is your rig rundown? What are you playing on?
You mean what
your
kind of
instruments?
instruments?
Yeah, amps and whatever else. Yeah.
Oh my God, this is a question you should have to.
Well, I'm putting you on the spot now. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I have a GK speaker and I have a Court bass, and actually, I have no idea. I mean, it's like this. I lent my father's car when I was young, and I don't even remember what kind of car it was.
Right.
I had to call him and say, what kind of car was it? So this is really wrong question to wrong guy. I have no amp and everything. I have no idea. When they start that talk, I do something else. I don't know.
You do world analytics. Yeah, that's what you do when they start talking equipment.
Yeah. That's not really my cup of tea. I don't know why. I'm not interested. I mean, of course, I could learn if I really wanted, but
yeah.
But the other guys, they're so good in this. So that's why I take a step back. I think.
What is it? A 5-string bass or a 4-string bass?
It's 4-string bass.
Okay, I've got a Chord 4-string as well. I'm very happy with my Chord 4-string. Very, very happy.
Yeah, me too. It's but I will change it maybe because our producer and singer he wants me to have something better, and yeah, I think he's right. So I might buy something else now in 2021.
Are you going to go shopping for it, or are you going to get your hun to come with you?
No, I'm going to go shopping for it. Yeah. So, but it's good. I'm happy with it, and I have another bass as well, a fretless bass.
Oh, okay. You like the fretless? Yeah. Wow, that's really 80s.
Oh yeah, I like fretless. I mean, Calm, for example, he's really. I mean, his bass lines are really, really good, and Derek Forbes in Simple Minds. Oh my God, I like bass with energy. Drums and bass with energy. To drive it through the song. That's something I really like.
A good backbeat. Yeah, good backbeat rhythm going on. Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things I like XOPlasma's music is it is uplifting, and it is sometimes rocky, sometimes chilled out, sometimes commercial. It's got a bit of everything in it, and above all, because I'm an 80s child, I just love that 80s sound. So that, I mean, your guys' music that you're doing, just keep going down that path, because God knows we need as much uplifting as we can possibly get.
Oh yeah, I agree, and thank you for that.
Absolute pleasure, absolute pleasure, Roland. And we're now coming to the end of our conversation. So, Roland, I'd just like to thank you for agreeing to do a podcast with me. And I'm going to put this out whenever I can, hopefully this week, maybe even. Be on my YouTube channel, and I'll do all the social tagging, and I'll obviously tag XOPlasma and everything like that. So once again, thank you very much for taking the time out. And when you have that album ready, let's do another podcast and let's talk about the new album.
Yes, that would be great. Absolutely. And thank you for taking your time as well.
Absolute pleasure, Roland. Keep well, keep safe.
You too. Okay. Have a nice day.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.